Hi everyone, it's Artist from Carpentry. We're back on a job. So today we're going to show you how I build a wall. Tools you're going to need, not necessarily you need chop saw. I use skill saw and a square, obviously a screwdriver, drill and screws. You might want to use some sort of adhesive as well to stick. For instance, if you don't have different fixings on a ceiling bit, you can stick the pieces on, you know, if you don't have your joist or rafter going there, so you can do that alternatively, that'll be fine. So first and foremost, what we do, we set out where we want our walls. That's where our wall will go in our case. So ideally you would have laser level with square option, so you can cross lines. Then that way you can see actually where your wall will be, and you can position it where you would like to be. So first I will start with cutting plates for the top part, then I will cut plates for the bottom, and that will outline our shape of the wall. We're also going to touch on how to finish off on the corners. There's several ways of doing, but I'll show you how I do it. So yeah, let's crack on. I'll start cutting the timbers for the top, and I'll speak to you in a bit. Right here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put only one 4x2 on the wall, because that will be to fix my frame. I go straight in the wall with masonry fixings, and that will be, this side will be that, and then I will off there I will go and measure out my opening, and you want to make opening 70mm wider than your actual door size, so that will allow for a gap for a door frame to be fitted, and that should be enough for all the clearances, providing that you put it level, well, as level as you can, upright. So once you've done all your plates, now you can, well, I've got one more to do against the wall. Plates are done, sorry, upright. I'll do one against the wall. I would suggest you to do them first, because obviously fixing it is easier when nothing's in the way. And then my next one will be this upright where the door opening is. I will use laser level, and because I find it is best to use that because it's easier for linings. And the only thing I do when I put noggings in, I usually use like a level, so because it's flat, and then push it where I need to be, so it's flat rather than with the belly. That quite often happens. So I'm fixing that on now, last one, with masonry, so plugs and screws, and then I'm gonna start uprights, the easy part I would say. And yeah, and that's that. So on the on the door lining height, if you got a just a subfloor like I got, 2 meters and 5 centimeters should be enough, or 2050. 2050, yeah, that's the measurement you want to be over the floor, because your door is on average 1985. Then you got to allow for door lining, which is about 30 mil roughly, plus your gaps. So to be safe, you want 2050 gap on a door lining, well, opening for your door lining. That's if you got a subfloor already there. So I'll just crack on. I thought I'd let you know what I'm doing. Again, I want to show you what I do, how I mark it out. In here I've centered from the corner, but what I usually try to do is do 400 centers. Obviously on inside of the wall it's not going to be the same as the outside, so what I normally do when I go wall, I form the corner the way I formed it here. So I put one upright here on the edge, so you got a good fixing on inside, same there, and then I do one on outside which I fix together, which forms strong corner. And then depending on the length and depending on what purpose of the wall is, but this is just a stud wall, it's not taking any load, you could have less uprights in technically, but I'll put one in center here, and then usually I try to do 400 centers, but as I said, this is not wall, load bearing wall, so this could have, for instance, there's one here 400 centers which is quite close. You don't have to put that in because the sheet should fit over, but then again, you know, you could put it on. It's up to you really. Let's see what's the, well, internally we got 120 something. Let's see, 124.5. By the time we board it, it's going to be 123. It will give us like 120 wardrobe-ish. So that was the idea. I think that's what we've done it. So it's a good size wardrobe, and yeah. So again, yeah, as I said, if you're doing low bearing wall, definitely have 400 centers, and in the corners or above doors you put double uprights in. And also when you have your cutouts for doors, you cut one out and then have another going next to it, so it's supported, and then across upright again, not flat but on the edge, double together. But in this case we're not going to do that because this is not structural wall, this is just normal stud wall. So yeah, I'll just crack on filling in. I will run out of timber because I have to use some to repair the floor, but you will understand where I'm coming from in regards of the uprights, etc. So I'll manage to get this part done, the corner, so, and I put a noggin in or so, and yeah, that will be it. I'm gonna have to pick some up and finish that off a bit later, but hope you will find it useful, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. what I want to share with you is how I board tight spaces. So first of all, or areas where it's, you know, not as easily get to with big boards. Well, here for instance we got that very narrow stairway. So I've started boarding here. If you're on your own, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do it because they are smaller, lighter to use, and B, sometimes it's just a fact that it's size what sort of matters. The smaller size is easier for you to, you know, to fit it and get in a room to start with. So what I've done here, as you can see, I fitted first board, and I also added bits of offcuts. I've cut them obviously same lengths in between where your board will join, and reason for that is because obviously with these small boards you can have a lot more joints when it's plastered, so that will prevent it from cracking because it's going to be held together. Not necessarily that it would crack, but you know, I want to make sure it doesn't, so I do it to prevent it. So here, what I also wanted to show you is how I mark out the sockets basically. So what I do, so let me put it there. What I will do, I take a piece of board. I start from the bottom because it's easier. You don't have to hold it up or anything. And then yeah, just have a cut. So I'll take my sheet, and you can see the boxes are fitted proud. So it really, everything starts from how you plan your jobs. So I put these noggins in. So the box is about 10 millimeters proud of face of the stud. Like that, and they're deep boxes, they're 35mm boxes, bag boxes. And reason for that is because it's easier for electrician to get his cables in and everything else, and also for you when you come to plasterboarding it, you can put your piece on, tap gently to mark the back of your board, and that will give you exact position of your socket which you need to cut out. I use multi-tool to cut them out, and this is what you can expect. So nice neat cut, no breakouts, no anything like that. So I'll demonstrate that now. So I get my piece. What I'll do, I'll cut it short a little bit because it'll be easier. So 1, 3. So that gives you indentation, and you can take a spare box . So I've done one board. I've showed you how I do it. So obviously I'm gonna repeat the process. I'm gonna put blocks again here, just so when I put my next board up, it is secure in a place. So it doesn't warp, because sometimes it does crack, and you don't really want that, because once glass is finished you just want to leave it. You don't want to be messing around with it too much. So obviously, as you can see, you can get it quite neat. So if you have a spare box to mark, because usually when you're going to tap like that, you will get it marked in one corner, so you can offer it into the corner and mark around, pencil around, and then yeah, once you get to the top, obviously I've got a gap there, so I need to allow a little bit more so the board goes in and there's no big gap, so that's what I'm gonna do. And also the third thing is, what you need to remember, you don't want your joints to be in one line. So as you can see here, I've stacked them, and I do advise do that, because then that creates a weak spot. If you have one continuous line upwards, say, except obviously when you have a full board, that's a different story. You're gonna have that obviously, but in that case your board will be fixed onto the stud work. Hence why I put blocks in when using small board. So this continuous line is all fixed. There's no spots where it can sort of fail because it's screwed in. So hence why also you want, obviously that's the difference or disadvantage of using the smaller boards. You're gonna have to make sure that you fix, depending on the way you actually fit them, you fix your joints. Because in normal circumstances you have one joint obviously on the vertical, not horizontal as on the smaller boards. But yeah, so I hope you will find it useful, and once I get around to bonding and stuff like that, I'll show you how I do that, and I hope you're enjoying it, and I'll catch up you in the next video.